Behind me is the Veterans Coliseum here in Phoenix, Arizona. This has become somewhat of a pilgrimage site for Republicans around the country. Republicans from more than a dozen states have all traveled to the desert to drop by the so-called Arizona audit, looking to possibly copy their methods in their own states. This recount got rolling after the Republican-controlled state Senate subpoenaed and won control of Maricopa County's 2.1 million presidential ballots. And how long has this taken you?
Let's see, it started on April 22nd is when they originally brought over the ballots in the trucks that were installed here.
Arizona went for President Biden by the slimmest of margins, about 10,000 votes. There wasn't any evidence of voter or election fraud, but Republicans insisted on looking back over every ballot. To do that, they hired a company with no election experience called Cyber Ninjas. Real election experts say the operation lacks the consistency, attention to detail, and transparency required for a credible review. Do you expect that the inspection results will be anything different and will overturn the outcome of the election?
No, there's just no. The election is not going to be overturned. The election is done. It's been certified. It's done.
So then what's the point of this?
If it turns out that there's significant problems, what that really means is putting in place new regulations and laws that will clean all it up and make it so that people have confidence going forward in future elections that the system works.
Is this inspection here contributing to people questioning the validity of elections and undermining sort of democracy?
Well, my answer to that is, I think it's just the opposite. I think it's showing people that we are taking the time and the effort to verify an election.
The theories flying around about the recount have been wild. One allegation was that thousands of American ballots were replaced with fraudulent ballots from Asia, so auditors looked for bamboo fibers. Again, there's not one shred of evidence to support this, but to double check, I went and talked to a guy who's an expert on ballot paper.
So you can kind of tell, like, it's a little thicker.
Oh, yeah.
It's not like something you can go and get at an office supply store. So that image you see up there, that we take that of every single piece of mail that goes across. So if there's ever a question, we can pull it up, show the county, and say, look, this is when it went through.
Jeff Ellington's company, Runbeck, printed and helped sort about 80 million ballots for the 2020 race.
It's one thing to make a statement that foreign ballots came over, but you have to answer the question, how did the original get swapped out? Signatures matching, ballot styles matching, envelope matching, the voter never knowing the difference, because in Maricopa, they text you when your ballot mails. Yeah. From here, they text you when they receive it, they text you when it's the signature's approved, and they text you when it's been tabulated. So you have to answer, how did all that happen without anybody catching on?
So basically you think that's not possible?
I don't think it's possible at all.
Maricopa County Board of Supervisors Steve Gallardo sued the Arizona Senate to prevent this review from even happening. Why do you think this so-called audit, this re-inspection of all these ballots is happening here in Maricopa?
There are two reasons. One is to try to justify why Republicans lost the state of Arizona. Two, it's a fundraising tool. These folks are raising money off this type of fake audit. That's what it's about. It's about rallying their base. It's about fundraising. I think that is the end result. It's about justifying many of the voter suppression bills that are being passed right out of the building right in back of me. That's what this is about. It is about trying to game the system. I believe that Republicans understand that they're losing elections across this country, particularly in Arizona. This is Arizona. This is Goldwater, McCain country. And they have lost the state of Arizona badly in the last two elections. This election is nearly 8 months over. We have been doing this for a while now. We haven't gone anywhere. We continue to hear the conspiracies, the false statements, the unfounded claims. Nothing has changed. The only thing that has changed is we have a process right now that has damaged the credibility of our election system, that has hurt our democracy and the confidence we have in our election system.
To a lot of Republican voters, the motivations behind the recount, or even the results, don't matter. Because this isn't the first election review that's happened, it's the third. And none of the previous ones have dampened the hopes of former President Trump's supporters in Arizona or nationwide.
It's premiere day for The Deep Rig, a movie that is totally bought in on these election conspiracies that the 2020 presidential race was stolen from President Trump. And coincidentally or not so coincidentally, it's airing the day after this so-called Arizona audit has wrapped.
If my vote doesn't count, your vote doesn't count, what are we doing?
Domestic terrorists incited.
Trump's former national security advisor, Mike Flynn, and his brother Joe are both featured in the film that falsely claims the 2020 election was rigged.
One of the things I think that's a big problem right now is that people don't believe in our institutions. And that's sad. And the only way to get back to people having faith in those institutions is to really do an audit. Let's get the truth out. If there's nothing to talk about, if there's no evidence of fraud or anything like that, then we move on.
Concerns, though, that, this might lead people to not trust elections and vote in elections anymore?
80% of them don't trust it now already. 30% of Democrats said that the election wasn't valid.
There's no evidence that's true. In fact, almost 50% of Republicans said in a recent poll they believe these audits could affect the outcome of 2020. This is all part of the disinformation feedback loop that Trump sowed long before the November elections.
This is great. Trump's coming back.
What do you mean he's coming back?
He's coming back.
As president?
The deep state is going down.
How is he coming back?
Somehow, some way he's going to be reinstated.
You really think that?
I pray to God every day.